The other day someone asked me, is 500,000 Toshi good enough? Now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, I wouldn't find that too disappointing maybe because if let's say, hypothetically, Toshi went to the price of 2 cents. Now at that point, if that maybe were to happen, 500,000 Toshi, or should I say half a million Toshi at that point, would be worth theoretically 10 grand because 500,000 times 2 cents, 10,000. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, why would you care about that? Well, it's because to me, if let's say it was just like I saved, let's say maybe 50% of that, and for whatever reason, I put it for the next cycle, and let's say again, for whatever reason during the next cycle, that does a 10x, so maybe it becomes 50 grand. Not saying it's going to happen, but if let's say that situation did happen, I would actually find that pretty impressive because even though I have some friends out there who are earning like, 150 grand, 100 grand, 200 or whatever, right? Even despite that, because their expenses are really high, it seems like it's kind of actually a little bit difficult to be able to save something like that. Again, the idea of maybe 50 grand, let alone, in their portfolio. A lot of my friends out there, very expensive car payments. They're constantly eating out, constantly traveling, constantly doing this, doing that, right? Buying, depreciating assets. In a lot of cases I see being able to, again, just save 50 grand or something like that, or even have that in the portfolio, it sometimes isn't necessarily something that is too easy. This is just my perspective, but this is just my outlook. However, when I take a look at maybe the idea of 2 cents, it's around a 34x from here. I'm totally aware that Toshi has had a pretty massive pullback ever since, it had that pretty good rally. But to me, even maybe just the idea of 2 cents again, it wouldn't surprise me too much because market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around 8.5 billion, which I don't, to me at least, seems too ridiculous. And think about this, right? Because Toshi has went so low in price to the point that 2 cents again is now around 34x from here, I wouldn't find that as something like too disappointing to me either because if let's say I got into Dogecoin or Shiba Inu right now, could they do hypothetically around a 34x in the next 6 months? I wouldn't even kind of have a great belief in that. Their market cap's pretty massive. So I'm totally aware that again, of course, the price of Toshi, has gone down by a lot, but why would I be complaining if the price was low if I actually like the project? And I think what makes Toshi pretty unique and pretty cool, I think, is that it is a meme coin on the Base network, which is Coinbase's layer 2 network. Coinbase is not only on the S&P 500, but again, it is publicly listed. Not to mention, when I take a look at the Base network, it doesn't have its own native token. So for me, an alternative for me to kind of believe in that, so to speak, is just by taking a look at projects on the Base network. This is just my point of view. I get it, Toshi is a meme coin, but if we take a look at the Base network, at least personally for me, it doesn't seem like there's too many popular projects out there. Like a lot of my friends out there can pretty much name 3 projects on the Base network. Something like Toshi, something like Brett, which is another meme coin, which is more popular than Toshi, arguably, I would say. And another project is Aerodrome, which is a decentralized exchange. That's not that many. I mean, if we take a look at something like Solana, for instance, a lot of people can name like 10 projects, like pretty like quick, right? Also something, again, just like a bunch of other places. But when it comes to the Base network, despite being Coinbase's layer 2, I just find that pretty kind of cool and interesting seeing how Toshi's arguably top 3 in terms of popularity on there right now, at least from what I've known from my friends, right? However, even besides that point, Toshi, I think, has good exchange listings. It's on Coinbase. We saw what happened when it comes to Binance US not too long ago when it comes to Toshi. So I think that's pretty interesting. Toshi's also named after Brian Armstrong, which is the co-founder of Coinbase's pet cat. Again, Brian Armstrong allegedly has a pet cat named Toshi. This is named after that. And also furthermore, we take a look at Toshi Tools, which is quite essentially helping guide someone towards their journey to be building on the Base network. So I find that a pretty cool, unique aspect when it comes to Toshi. Toshi also has Toshi Mart, which is basically like a meme coin launchpad. So I think Toshi doesn't seem like, such a boring meme coin to me after all. Personally, for me, I will not be able to know the exact moment in time Toshi is going to be doing this or doing that. All I can do is stay patient and prepare for a moment in time because when I was believing in Toshi and we saw that initial rally, right? It's not like I was able to know the perfect moment. You know what I mean? It's not possible for me to do that. So the only thing I can do is just dollar cost average the way I take a look at it, hold, and I just wait, and that's it. It's literally just a waiting game. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what Toshi does in the next 6 months, along with the whole altcoin space, arguably. But to me, whenever things do decide to do this or do that, it's going to be beyond my control. So I'm just going to be holding and waiting, dollar cost averaging, and that's it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.